maybe it's not 5 stars, maybe it's 4 stars, but still there's a lot of things that you can get from those reviews that will inform your marketing strategy, that will inform your operations, and that will give you great insight into how to support that type of customer, or even whether it's that customer again in the future, or even just that type of customer again in the future.
Are you ready to make your law firm a profit-generating machine that will free up your time and skyrocket your impact? With more than 2 decades of business growth experience and having proven that you can be successful while prioritizing your family and your impact, introducing the Profit with Law podcast. I am your host, the creator of the firm differentiator 10x effect, Moshe Amsel. Well, hello and welcome to another amazing podcast guest interview. I've been doing this intro over and over again. Today's a podcast batching day. So this is it's my 5th appointment. Somebody was a no-show. So we have 4 podcast interviews. This is the 4th one. And each one I start with an amazing or just a guest interview. And like, how do I choose when to say amazing, when to not say amazing? I don't know, because we didn't even record it yet. But this is another amazing guest interview because I know the person who is joining me. We connected before the Law Firm Growth Summit, talked about what they do, talked about collaboration possibilities, and I'm a big believer in the need for what they do, and we're gonna jump into that in just a moment. But I'll give you a little sneak peek. We're gonna be talking about reputation management. We're gonna be talking about referrals and reviews and all of that jazz. And really, it's something that is becoming, like, literally every day is becoming in a more and more increasing, not just need. It's almost like, as humans, we need air, water, and food to survive. Your business needs reviews to survive. Like, that is where we're at right now. Like, it wasn't that way, when you had a Yellow Pages ad, nobody was checking your reviews. They were just calling you on faith based on the size of the ad, whether, determining how big your firm was. Because, it was impossible for a small firm to buy a whole page in the Yellow Pages. But we're in a different day and age today, and it's really important for us to recognize where the value is and where we should be placing our efforts for that reputation. So I'm excited to jump into this conversation today. Our guest today is Curtis Davey. Curtis Davey is the founding partnerships manager of Nice Job, and Nice Job is a reputation marketing platform that helps law firms capture reviews and referrals automatically from their clients at various points in the customer journey. Curtis works closely with partners to help them build exceptional customer experiences, amplify the voice of their customers in ways that grow their practice, and automate more of their operations so that law firm owners can spend more time with family and growing their practice. All right, Curtis, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Moshe. Pleasure to be here. It's great to connect with you on your platform and all of your audience.
Awesome. So we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day, busy, hectic schedule to fit us in. I mean that with every sense of it. Like, every guest that we have, we appreciate the fact that you're willing to come in and commit an hour block. Hopefully the interview doesn't go that long, but that's the block of time that we take. And we take a good solid 10 minutes in the green room getting ready to record, which is why most of our recordings are about 45 minutes, but I have a tendency sometimes on a really good topic to go longer. But we really appreciate you being here. And what I like to do, kick it off, give you an easy, pitch over the plate. Our listeners don't know who you are, so we'd love to know more about you. Like, how did you end up doing what you do, and Nice Job, and all of, like, give us the broad strokes background of how you came up and ended up helping law firms with their reputation management.
It's funny, that's quite the loaded question considering my eclectic career path, but I fell naturally into partnerships from a lot of different areas. So, my career path includes, working as a fashion photographer with some of the world's best fashion models and fashion photographers. I worked in film on films like Inception with Christopher Nolan and working in visual effects. But where partnerships found me and where I found partnerships was really in connecting the dots between organizations and between people. And that's a strength that I think is one of my best. It's something that I've been doing for over 10 years now between cultural organizations, media entities, companies, business, and business consumer. But over the last 7 years or so, I've been really ingrained in the software industry, in connecting platforms, connecting people in ways that are going to be mutually beneficial for their own ends and for their own companies. So with Nice Job, I've been here about 3.5 years now. I was recruited to join the team to lead the partnerships program and take us from a small startup into what is now a very full-fledged company. We've since been acquired by a company called Paystone, and between the three platforms, we provide reputation marketing, we provide payment processing, and we provide gift and loyalty solutions to thousands and tens of thousands of businesses around North America. And where I shine and where my day-to-day exists is in connecting technology partners, solution partners like agencies, outlets and media outlets like yourself, to be able to help find solutions and, more importantly, find topics and education and understanding of what drives business these days. And what drives business is word of mouth referrals. It's driving, it's the Google reviews. It's certainly all of those areas that a lot of business owners overlook as key areas for them to grow their business, for them to improve their operations by understanding what their customers are saying, by finding super fans within their organization, within their customer base, and then helping those super fans to really share their great work and their great reputation with their friends and family in their network. If you can create that ripple effect within obviously your customer base, but obviously also within your partner base, within your vendor collaborations, within your community, whatever industry you're in, that is going to reap immense benefits for your company, for yourself, not only short term, but also in the long term in terms of that growth and that valuation that it can increase with your company and all those things. So I've been focused on that from day one and with Nice Job, and Nice Job has been laser focused since day one on making it super simple for businesses of all types, but predominantly service businesses, to be able to capture the voice of their customer, capture that great review, that great feedback, leverage that internally to improve operations, and then more importantly, empower our users and our customers and our clients in this instance, when we're talking to law firms, about how they can get their clients to share their great reviews and share their great experience with their friends and family network in a way that just continues to expand the ripples.
So talk to me about you threw a number of things in there, and it sounds like the parent company that acquired Nice Job also does gift fulfillment. And what is the strategy behind the various pieces that you offer? It starts with finding out who's happy with you, right? But then what do you do with that, and how do you identify who is your are you sending gift packages to everybody or just to your super what do you call them?
Super fans.
Your super fans. I want to use your terminology, but what is the overall what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like when you're doing a marketing funnel, like you have a plan, like you have, it's step A, B, C. What's the overall plan in place for this? And how does somebody implement that?
Good question. I mean, the reason Nice Job was acquired by Paystone and the reason that Paystone has, Data Candy as a brand previously is because we all share the same ethos. And that ethos is helping our customers to grow their own customer base. So for 2022, for example, our North Star metric as a company and across all of our three companies is not how many customers we get, but how many customers our customers get. So our North Star metric was to be able to help our customers service 25 million customers across North America predominantly. And that means we need to help them continue to acquire new customers in order for us to hit that target, which is, how we judge our success. And I'm happy to say that we're going to be achieving that goal, this week or next week, which is massive considering, we break that down across maybe 25, 30,000 companies. And you have, a lot of businesses that have grown considerably in some very tough economic climates and very tough recent circumstances, as we all know. So that ethos aligning us all, we always come to the market and we always come to our customers with that one solution in mind, which is how can you leverage payment processing, gift and loyalty, and reputation marketing in a way that's going to help you acquire more customers, keep those customers, find the happiest of those customers and have them bring you more customers just by amplifying a review or some feedback they've given you, or sharing them within their network. So that's what unites us. That's what drives us every day, and that's sort of why the three companies have come together. And so when we're servicing our small businesses, our law firms, all of the various industries that we serve, it's always with that idea in mind: is how can you leverage our tools to automate more of your process? How can you leverage our tools to surprise and delight your clients, your customers, so that they have that affinity towards you, they build that loyalty towards you? And then how do you leverage, that great feedback you're getting, be it a Google review or even an internal review, so that you're able to improve your operations, continue to serve that specific customer in a way that they want to be served, and the way that they've addressed you in terms of the things that they truly love and admire and enjoy about their customer experience with you.
Okay, so let's get technical. Let's get tactical, right? Like, okay, so I serve a client. I'm now at some point I'm at the stage of asking them for feedback, right? Is that the beginning of the engagement? Is it during the engagement? Is it the end of the engagement? When am I starting that process? And then how does Nice Job fit into that?
You bring up a great question, and that's always what we like to sort of do with our customers, is ask them probing questions to understand, what is it about their business, or when is it in their business that we think the customer's having what we call the moment of peak excitement. And I hope the air quotes don't, add too much cheese to it. But the idea is that if you're a business owner, and each business owner has their own great understanding of the customer journey, when in that process would you like to really create those moments that surprise or delight, or that really help to convert that customer and give them that moment of happiness that we're all looking for our customers to have? For law firms, for example, that could be after the initial consultation, right? I mean, it's hard enough for me as a consumer to try and find a law firm that I want to work with. You might meet 5 or 10 of them. You maybe just reach out to one of them and hope that it's the right one for you. But that I would encourage law firms to think about as a great moment to solicit a review. I mean, yes, you haven't really done anything for them. The work is still to be done. But if you've created an experience where a customer's found you online or through a referral or whatever mechanism, they've reached out to you in an easy way where they've been able to, solicit an email from you, or you're able to reach you directly by phone, as a lot of customers still prefer to do, or they filled out a form and they received an immediate response. That's one of the first questions we like to ask is, what is the customer experience in them finding you? And how can we help bolster that? How can we help convert that customer to be a client with you when they're still in the exploratory phase? So that's all about sort of the idea of creating that great customer experiences. If you can automate that to take a little bit of time off your plate, if you can make that a seamless experience for the customer, you're likely going to have a great experience. And that customer will theoretically want to give you a review just on that process. Because I've looked for a law firm before. It's not easy. If I were to get a great experience, get on board into a law firm, pay my retainer, or at least agree in principle to work with that firm, that would be an experience I would be happy to review, because it's not easy. And it's not obvious to a lot of other people looking for reviews. And that's a review that I think a law firm can take, showcase, market to their audience, market to the marketplace, and say, we're an amazing law firm. It's super easy to get info from us. Come and try our free consultation. You probably won't be disappointed. Then beyond that, of course, the moment of peak excitement can really differ. It can be once the case is won and closed. It could even be once the case is closed and lost. It could be at some point in the long, arduous journey of legal cases these days, where it's maybe 1, 2, 3, 6 months into the process. Maybe you've had some court dates, maybe you haven't. But if the customer has been having a great experience throughout this, don't be shy to ask for that review. Worst case scenario, they say no and you don't get a review. Best case scenario, you get some feedback that you can action, or you get a really positive review that you can then take to market. So I would say those are 2 important questions that every law firm owner should ask themselves: is what does my customer experience journey look like? And when are one or multiple moments of peak excitement along that journey that I can look to automate a review request? And that's, to your second part of your question, certainly where Nice Job comes in, is we look to automate that process for you, so that once that event happens, we get an automatic notification from your existing software. And then we trigger our review request or our referral request campaign automatically, so that you don't have to think about it. All you know is that, yesterday you had a meeting with so-and-so, and the next day you got a 5-star review from that customer because of the amazing meeting experience, outcome, whatever it might be that you've been able to generate for them.
So Nice Job is asking for the review. Are they sending people to Google, for example, to place that review, or is it within Nice Job that they're placing the review, and then where does that live so that people can see it?
All our options. Yeah. I mean, Google, Facebook are, as we know, major places to find customers these days. So those are typically the two review sites that we prioritize at the top of the list. It's up to the individual user how many review sites they'd like to connect, which review sites they connect, and how. So certainly Google, Facebook, but then we always offer Nice Job as an option, which is sort of an internal place to capture that feedback. We offer that for a number of reasons, because if a customer doesn't have a Google or a Facebook account or doesn't want to log into those accounts because they've logged out on that device, we remove that barrier of them having to log in or create an account on a platform in order to capture that review. So that's a good learning point, or a good tip, is to remove as many barriers as you can for that customer to make it easy for them to leave that review. We do that by sending automatic text messages and email follow-ups so that we make it easy for them to click once, click twice, and land on the place they want to land to leave that review. If you're collecting feedback internally, Nice Job is a great place because it doesn't exist publicly anywhere yet. But with our widgets and with our tools, you can automatically have those published to social media or to your website in a way that new customers, when they land on your page, are going to see you. And that's another area for business owners and law firm owners to think about, is what is your law firm's website's conversion rate? Typical industry websites convert around 1% to 2% of the time. We provide websites that guarantee a higher degree of that, so that when you're on your website and you're using our social proof widget or a widget to showcase all of the great recent reviews you've had, a customer can see right then and there that somebody a few days, a week, a month before them has had a similar journey to them, has had a wonderful experience, and that gives them all of the validation they need to fill out that form, to click the book a meeting button, whatever it is, to get that conversion rate. So that when you're getting people to your website, which is a hard enough job as it is, you're converting as much of that website traffic as possible to leads and to hopefully eventually clients. So that's where Nice Job comes in, by having a review, no matter where it is, Google, Facebook, Yelp, Better Business Bureau, or Nice Job. You're able to choose the ones that you want to amplify in a way that is both automatic and easy, so that 4 or 5-star reviews automatically get published to where they need to be. That boosts your SEO on Google because they consider it to be user-generated content. That boosts your search rankings. That boosts the likelihood you're going to be shown in the Google Local 3-pack. And these are all things that just help you capture more attention, convert more website traffic, and turn these customers and these leads into customers and clients.
I love that. Didn't even realize you had that tool, and that's really cool. So it kind of makes the social proof portion of your website a little dynamic, right? Where it's just like updating, it's got latest reviews, or it's scrolling between reviews and stuff like that. That's really cool. And it's not just the internal Nice Job reviews, it's from Google, Facebook, and all of those platforms. What about Yelp? We had I'm sorry to cut you short there. I'll let you talk as long as you want when I'm done with the question. We had a guest on the podcast who was talking about the value of Yelp reviews, because apparently MSN, the search engine, uses Yelp as the review engine. And we had no idea. And one of the cool things is that where what he shared is that Yelp will discount the first 2 or 3 reviews somebody leaves. So until it won't even publish them. Like you can only get your review published on Yelp after you've left a couple of reviews. So one of the things that they have in their process is to ask somebody, have you ever left a Yelp review before, like in their initial intake process? And if the answer is yes, then they get put into the Yelp bucket so that they can get Yelp reviews also, in that process. I'm curious if you integrate with Yelp, if you have ever heard of this, if there's anything built into your process or your platform that will allow somebody to easily navigate this in an automatic way so that they don't need to be involved in this manually.
Yeah, we're very familiar with Yelp. We understand they are, in many industries, still an essential tool and platform for discovery. I'll put an asterisk on that also, in that we try to do more with Yelp, but they don't like to play nicely with third-party tools such as ourselves. Yelp is a bit of a pay-to-play platform. You can pay to promote reviews, you can pay to remove reviews, and that makes it a little bit less of an authentic review platform for a lot of businesses and a lot of companies. And because of that aggressive approach they've taken with a lot of industries and a lot of businesses, they'll reach out and really propose a lot of solutions to businesses for a cost that they may or may not need. So we do have the ability to capture reviews on Yelp, but it's basically a pass-through. So the customer would input the user would input their Yelp link. The customer would click Yelp, it would take them to the Yelp page, and they would have to log into Yelp and go through that Yelp process. Yelp also restricts the amount of reviews that we're able to ingest from their site. So it's one of those solutions that, yes, we facilitate a solution for, because we understand it's important. We would love to do more with Yelp, but unfortunately, they just don't allow it based on their current business model and based on their current approach to the market, which is a little bit different from all of the other review sites, which are intended to be agnostic third-party tools that are just intended to be a resource and a repository for information for customers to find businesses that are doing good work without bias and without the ability to manipulate those results based on payment.
Okay, so I mean, let's talk about delivery of of awesomeness in like a surprise and delight, I think is how you said it earlier, right?
Yep.
I have a trademark attorney I work with, Joey Vitale, who's also become a good friend. But when I first signed up with his law firm to do our first trademark, it's quite a while now. Shortly after signing up with them, I got a package in the mail, and it was, their own unique style of stuff. It wasn't like anything that it was is useful day to day. It was like a little cactus plant. I don't even remember the messaging. I just remember that there was like a little bag of confetti and a cactus plant, and there was a message around it. I actually did an entire podcast episode about it. So my team, I don't remember the name of the episode, but my team will go and find that, and they'll link it in the show notes. And any resources that we mention and link up will be in the show notes, which if you look in the description of your podcast player, should be in the resources section right below that. But even if it's not there, you go to profitwithlaw.com, and this episode will be there with an entire blog post around it, and it has a resources section with all these links. But is that something that now your sister company does, that you kind of marry the two together? So now we've got this automation going on to collect a review, and at the same time, we've also got an automation going on to send them some predetermined package to welcome them to the family, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'll probably get in a little bit of trouble because Surprise and Delight and Nice Job is not quite available yet. We're still merging all of the platforms together, but it should be ready in, Q1 of next year in 2023. But that is exactly the idea. What your trademark lawyer did is the precise idea why you want to surprise and delight your customers. You had no expectation that this was going to happen, but you signed up with a company that you believe was the right solution for you. The best way to validate that decision, to really give them the warm and fuzzies and create a memorable experience they'll be wanting to tell their friends and family about, is exactly that. A week later, a few days later, you got this package on your doorstep. It's, you probably laughed a little when the confetti fell in your lap or blew up in your face, whatever it might have been. And then obviously you got this great keepsake that is just a constant reminder of the amazing experience that this company has provided to you, all because you've just decided to put your trust in them and hire their services. And obviously, you would have enjoyed their services and probably still had a great experience had they not done this. But by all means, this just really cements it. As you've said, you built an entire podcast episode around it. So this is the kind of experience that you want to create for your customers, because then they're going to want to go above and beyond in terms of becoming that super fan for you. They're going to say to their neighbors, this is the company I hired. Check them out. They're amazing. They're going to say to their friends and family, I had this amazing experience. This guy did this for me. They're even going to want to share that review or share that referral link broader, further and wider, because they've had such a good experience. They want to be that person that brought this amazing experience to their friends, to their family, to their network. And it's a small thing, but humans are funny that way, in that we love gifts, we love surprises, and we love sharing things that make us look great. And one of those great things would be sharing them an experience where hiring a lawyer isn't always the most fun of experience depending on the circumstances. But if you can create an experience where they're, having a smile on their face, or they're telling their friends, or they're looking at that cactus on the wall and always thinking back to the amazing service you provided them, that's going to stick with them. And that's going to create loyal customers. That's going to create really vocal customers. And it's going to make it easier for you to them turn it into a blog post, turn it into a case study, turn it into something that then becomes of value to you in your marketing funnel.
Yeah, I love that. And as you're sharing, I'm like, yeah, how awesome would it be if you can track the package and automatically, based on the delivery of the package, can trigger the review request to them the next day? Or you could even ask them, hey, did you get the package? Like an automated, follow up to make sure that they got it, knowing that they already received it. And then following up with, asking them if they're satisfied and requesting the review. Very interesting. I wonder, do people like see through that? Like, do they think like, okay, you just sent me this package to get me to write a review? Like, is that something that's a concern, or does that not really happen?
I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because yes, there are certain times where it's better than other times to send that package to surprise and delight your customers. And for one, I should make it very, very clear that you should never, ever send a package to a customer with an expectation, even implied, that you are sending this with the expectation of getting a review. For one, that goes against the terms of service of every major review platform. So if they find out you're incentivizing your customers to leave you reviews, which is the case with this, it could get your Google My Business profile taken down. It could get you in a lot of trouble. It can, put you into a circumstance where they don't believe those reviews you're getting are now independent and objective. So incentivizing a review should never be done. However, incentivizing or surprising and delighting a customer after they've just signed on with you, after they've sent you a referral, even after they've given you a 5-star review without any expectation or communication of that surprise and delight gift, that is all acceptable. But that's up to each business owner to try and figure out, when is that moment that I want to create that memorable experience? To your point, if I send them a gift and know that they've gotten it, is this an opportunity where I want to try and create an extra touch point with that customer so I can reach out to them, hear that they've got it, hear how happy they are that they've gotten this wonderful gift, and then use as an opportunity to maybe upsell or maybe just check in on status or even break them some bad news. I'm sure there's lots of different ways you can use it, but that's always the thought, is how do I do this in a way that doesn't make it seem like I'm doing this for a specific end?
Right. And I think also, like, if you and it's interesting because if you're familiar with the 5 love languages, like giving a gift to somebody is something that some people find naturally they're inclined to do, and then other people it's not in their nature, and it's not the way that they express. In business we're not, don't take love the wrong way, but it's not the way that you express love, and therefore you're not inclined to lean into something like this unless it's strategy. So when we start talking about, gifting and things like that, like, it really should be coming from the place of, I just want to give to them. Like, there is a vendor I work with that I have been receiving things from them, and each time that I get it, it's just, it's something that I really just feel like they just felt compelled to send it to me. We celebrated our, I don't remember if it was 100,000 downloads or 100 episodes. I'm looking right now to see, because this behind me, for those of you on the audio podcast, you don't see it, but behind me, there's like a plaque that I got with our podcast artwork. And it's kind of like the podcast player things beneath it. And I think when we hit a milestone, whatever it was, whether it was a certain number of episodes or a certain number of downloads, they picked up on our social post about that, and they literally had this custom thing made for me and sent to me. And that, yeah, you can't automate that, and that's probably not the kind of thing that you want to do for every client, but that really made an impression. And it definitely, I would refer them anyway. Like, it's just kind of like icing on the cake. And I think that that's really what you're trying to share with our listeners is you got to provide a great experience first, and then add surprise and delight to that as the icing on the cake. It's not going to, if you have a shoddy service, if your communication's broken, if your people are unhappy, you're not going to fix that by sending them a gift.
Yeah, I am full body nodding right now, and because everything you said is bang on. And I encourage law firms to think about asking for these, or creating this experience and asking for these things, even if the outcome is negative. Say you lose the case, say something goes wrong, there is still a lot of positives that you might have been able to impart and to provide to that customer that's going to want them, or going to give them reason to give you a great review. Maybe it's not 5 stars, maybe it's 4 stars, but still, there's a lot of things that you can get from those reviews that will inform your marketing strategy, that will inform your operations, and that will give you great insight into how to support that type of customer, or even whether it's that customer again in the future, or even just that type of customer again in the future, to create an optimal experience. So that, obviously it would help if the outcome of the case was positive. But even if it's not, there's still a lot of things you can learn from. There's still a lot of great things you can do for that customer that'll give them those warm and fuzzies to want to, refer you or try your services again.
Yeah, I love it. And even like asking for a review is a really strange thing. Like, people have a lot of resistance around asking for a review. Can you talk about that, and why do you think that is, and how can it be automated in a way that it doesn't feel it doesn't feel off brand. They feel good about it, and still, and still are able to have that automation in place. Because I think there's a lot of mindset that we need to get around in order to be willing to do this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I understand that certain industries of law or certain practices of law are a little bit more sensitive where, maybe reviews aren't something you can ask for, that a customer would be willing to leave because of the sensitivity or the privacy nature of that case or whatever it might be. But that's where you can still ask for that feedback internally. You can still ask for that review. And to your point about, why more businesses don't do it, I think it's a combination of things. I think it's, the effort required. If they think they have to manually call or email those customers afterwards and continue to follow up to get that review, that's certainly one of it. I think, the ask in itself feels a little bit disingenuous or maybe a little self-serving, but I can only encourage you and confirm that it's table stakes these days. Like every business out there is asking for reviews, is for asking for feedback, is sending a survey request at one time or another. The best way to do it is to make it, as close to that moment of peak excitement as possible. That's the moment the customer is most willing to be able to leave that review, to make it easy for them by, making it a request on their phone or a computer where it's only a click or two for them to complete that review. And then it's about asking in a way that really shows the value that it provides to you as a business. So whether that's, helping a small firm grow, whether that's helping a business understand, or the lawyers themselves, having them understand how they can improve their communication to you, the type of work they do for you, how, their support team and the administration team can help you. There's a lot of things that can be gained from that. So, automating is definitely great because it's simple for you and it's simple for the customer. Making the right request at the right time sort of removes a lot of that contextual weirdness and awkwardness around making the ask in the first place. And then really communicating the value that it has to you as a law firm, whether it's helping us improve our operations, whether it's helping us to grow and, become a self-sufficient firm or to hit that next level, whatever it might be, or even just to, battle against the big guys. There's a lot of people who prefer to work with small businesses and small firms to help them grow because they feel that, there's the large companies, large corporations, large mega conglomerate law firms that might not serve their needs or their interests as well. So there's a bunch of different angles that if you can really narrow down to what it is that is going to be the benefit to you, is going to make it easy for your customer, and is going to make them most willing to do so. And that's sort of the touching back on the customer experience elements. It's going to remove a lot of those roadblocks. It's going to remove a lot of that awkwardness and ickiness about the request. And it's going to make that transaction review to reviewer or reviewee to reviewer not feel like it's strange, because they already get requests like this on a normal basis. And what I think law firms and lawyers need to understand is that, this is their industry is no different. It's important to get reviews. It's super important for customers to see reviews from other customers, to know that they're a firm that's providing great experiences and great value and certainly a great outcome. But more so, it's about, learning from that feedback, internalizing that feedback, and helping you to understand which of your lawyers potentially are doing a good job. Because with a solution like Nice Job, we can help you understand which of the lawyers in your firm supported that customer, whether it's an admin person at the front desk or the lawyer working on the case. You can then get direct feedback about that person, that employee's behavior, and about the experience they provided that customer. So you need to know if it's something you need to address internally as a team, maybe on their next KPI or their next internal review. But those are all things that can help you as a firm operate better, because then you're holding individuals accountable to the services they've done and provided and the experience they provided their customers.
So logistically, I just want to understand how this works. So Nice Job is asking them for a review, and then if they leave that, and then they're being taken to the Nice Job platform to leave that. And if it's a review that has enough stars, that says enough good things, then that's somehow being forwarded to Google. And if it's not, then that's being sent internal to say, hey, this is somebody that needs to be, we need to dig further into this. Like, how does that work logistically on the front end?
Yeah, we don't nudge a customer in any direction. What you described there in terms of, validating the experience, whether it was good or bad, that's called review gating. That's against the terms of service of every major review platform out there. To send a request to a customer to say, hey, how we do today? Thumbs up, you get taken to a review site. Thumbs down, you get taken to an internal feedback engine or portal. That's review gating. That gets both the business owner and us into a lot of trouble, and we don't do that. There are platforms out there that do. So if you're looking for that solution, good luck. go for it. But just be warned that you could have your Google Business profile taken down. You could get all of your reviews from even prior to using a solution like this completely removed from the internet, which nobody wants. So the first step is, identifying, can we automate this process with a CRM or an FSM? So for example, we integrate with Clio. In Clio, you have a button that you can trigger this review request at any time during a customer journey, just with a simple button in the quick links section, or you can have it trigger automatically based on matter closing case known as matters in Clio. And if you mark the matter as closed, that could automatically trigger the review request. Then we have multiple different ways to structure campaigns. But like I said, it's typically one text message as soon as that trigger event is triggered. That sends the customer a text message. They click the link that takes them to a landing page where it showcases all of the other great reviews that law firm has received. And that landing page is very specific to that customer and that law firm. And then from there, they choose which of the review sites they choose to leave it on. So we always choose a hierarchy based on, the most impact it's going to have the business. But of course, the user, the Nice Job user, can choose which of those review sites to showcase. And then the customer, it's dealer's choice. They get to choose which of the platforms they want to leave a review on. Typically, it's Google. We have a functionality internally where we actually recognize what accounts a customer is logged into on their device. So Moshe, if I sent you a review request and you're logged into Yelp and Better Business Bureau, it would pop those to the top of the list because our software has recognized that. And what that's done is remove the roadblocks of you having to log in or create an account, and it makes it the easiest place for you to leave that review. Wherever that review is left, either through our system or proactively on that platform, if we're connected to it, we'll ingest that back into Nice Job. We'll ensure that customer does not receive any more follow-ups, because that's another key element that's unique to Nice Job, is we help to reconcile, okay, this customer named John Smith used a different email than the one we have in our system, but we're pretty sure based on a number of factors that these are the same people. Therefore, we're not going to send John Smith any more follow-up emails because we think he's already left us a review and we don't want to continue asking. Then once that review is there, it automatically lives on the platform that the customer's chosen. So if it was Facebook or Google, it'll automatically be published on that platform. But then what we can do with it is we can then create a social story, or what we call a social post. We can add a photo or some context and some tags, share that to social media. You can use it to automatically publish to our widgets on your website if you have a minimum star criteria set. So if the review is 4 stars and above, for example. And you can then have that trigger a referral campaign where then that customer is sent a message saying, thank you very much for your 5-star review. We're so glad you had a great experience. If you know anybody that will benefit from our services, here's an offer, here's an incentive, here's an easy way for you to share this great review via social media, in an email, or in a text message to your friends and family.
Really, really neat and cool. The various things that you've done to make this easy and really streamline the process. I really like some of the things that you're doing automatically. When it goes to this custom web page that's for this particular person, does it say like, "Hi Carly," like that you've completed this and this matter? Like, what kind of customization is on there besides for the sites it's sending them to?
The landing page will carry a number of different things. You can have like a lead generation form on there. So if a customer wants to sign up for another quote or share this page with their friends and family, they have that ability to. The mechanism or the little widget that pops up asking for that review will have some customization. It'll use the customer's name. It'll use the law firm's name that is soliciting the request. There's not as much opportunity to customize the landing page that they've clicked. But in the messages you send for them to click to, those are the ones that can be highly customized. So if I sent you a text message or one of the follow-up emails, any of those can be customized to be specific to your name, which will always be. But they can also include maybe the lawyer's name. So thank you for hiring Joe Smith Esquire as your lawyer. We hope you provided a great experience on this immigration law case. Or you can add some specifics to that to make it a little bit more specific to that customer's usage. You can create as many different campaigns as you want to in Nice Job. So you can modify a campaign for each employee. You can modify a campaign for each service. You can modify a campaign for the moment in the customer journey that you're soliciting them. But regardless, it always makes it so that the customer feels like this is a targeted request to them to make it seem a little bit more palatable and to make it a little bit more personal, which is always what really converts. Because out of all the 4 messages that we typically send, the text message will typically convert the highest at around 40 to 50%. And that's because it's coming at the moment of peak excitement. It's usually prefaced by the law firm or the customer is expecting it. But the one that converts second highest out of all of them is the 4th and final message. And that's an email that comes in a very plain text, as if it's coming from the owner of the law firm or the lawyer who provided the services. And it's just saying, hey, I sent you a few other messages. This will be the last one, I swear. But reviews mean a ton to our law firm. It really helps us grow. It helps us learn. If you wouldn't mind taking the 2 minutes or the 2 seconds to leave a review, we greatly appreciate it. And that one actually converts the second highest out of all the messages. So that goes to show the power of follow-ups. That goes to show this power of personalization. And that goes to show that personal request really, really goes far. So as a law firm, if you wanted to implement a further practice to this, you could even have your lawyers say, after a call or after the initial consultation or whatever that journey you think that you're going to trigger that review request around is we aim to provide 5-star service. It's the idea of priming a customer. We're a 5-star rated law firm. We aim to provide 5-star service. In a minute, you're going to get a text message from me asking for a review. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to leave a 5-star review for us, we greatly appreciate it. It helps us X, Y, and Z. And just those few mentions of 5 stars are really going to ingrain that idea into the customer's head. So when it comes time for them to choose the review site and choose the type of review they're giving you, they're going to be naturally inclined, if they've had a good experience, to go for that 5 stars.
Awesome. I love it. I have a question for you. And I don't know if I'm opening a can of worms here, a whole nother scope but we interviewed somebody by the name of Cassidy Lewis, who's a CMO for a law firm in the Virginia area with 9 locations. And one of the things that she brought up in that podcast interview, and by the way, folks, it's Grow Your Law Firm Through Intentional and Strategic In-House Marketing with Cassidy Lewis, episode 334. You can find it by going to profitwithlaw.com/334. Again, that'll be linked up in the show notes. You don't have to stop driving or jump out of the shower to write down the notes on this. So Cassidy brought up a really interesting problem that they deal with at the law firm, which, until you're in it, you don't realize it's a challenge. And that is that Google My Business is location specific. So when somebody's leaving you a review, they're leaving a review for that location. So how does a law firm navigate the multi-location phenomenon when they're asking for reviews? And specifically, how does Nice Job handle it? I know how Cassidy handles it. They have they rotate where the destination of the landing page is that they're sending people to between their locations, and they have it on a schedule where they just change where it's going, and they hope for the best, that they're going to get not too many reviews at one time in one location, and that it's timed well. Do you have something within your platform to deal with multi-location businesses when it comes to, and I don't know if this is a Google only problem or if other review sites have a similar issue, but to basically control where they're going so that you can make sure that all of your sites are getting reviews and they're not getting inundated with too many that will flag it or anything like that?
Yeah, so if a firm has multiple Google My Business pages, that makes it certainly a lot easier because we tie and pair each Nice Job account with a Google My Business account. So if you have a location or a GBP for each location, it's easy enough to connect each Nice Job account to each review site so that that review or that location is triggering review requests for that location specifically. If you just have one overarching like HQ GBP or Google My Business platform, and you're looking to capture reviews and rotating them from around the locations, there's a number of factors that go into that. So unfortunately, I don't have a one clear answer for you right now, but essentially it also depends on, the CRM we're using. So if you're automating through Clio and that Clio account is tied to that location, then it's going to trigger a review request for that location on that main GBP page. Maybe there's a question we can ask in the comment or in the request itself to say, please mention the location that you've hired. So I'm, had a great experience with Detroit, Michigan law firm X. So that's one way. And then of course, with our widgets, we can identify and separate and segment reviews from each location into one widget or multiple widgets. So we call it sort of a super widget. If you're getting reviews from a ton of different locations, let's say 9 or 10 different firms, but it's all coming into one website, one page, you can have that widget showcase all the reviews from all of those locations in one place. So you can say, we've got 10,000 reviews across 10 locations. Here's, you click down below to sort of segment and see reviews specific to each location. Maybe there's a landing page, maybe there's, a specific page that segments them, but there's a few different ways to slice this turkey, as I would say. Not always perfect if you don't have a GBP page for each location, but certainly we can help you capture that feedback in a way that you can then turn it into marketing material, which is, the fundamental ethos and philosophy behind reputation marketing, which is very different from reputation management platforms out there that are there to help you get reviews, but not really help you do anything with them. Nice Job has always been designed to, more importantly, get those reviews, but then certainly leverage those in ways that are going to help you reach more people, attract more business, close more leads, et cetera, et cetera. And that's by taking them, showcasing them, and sharing them in places where they're going to help you reach more audiences and validate that customer purchase decision for them to reach out for a quote, for more info, or a meeting.
I really like that you went back to that and put the bow on it, because I don't think that we really think about that. I don't think that many firm owners are thinking about, after getting the review, leveraging the review beyond that. And it's been discussed throughout this episode, and it's kind of been subtle. And I really think that we should point out and make it more clear. Like, there's a whole can of worms that you're unpacking. That's, hey, after they left a review, now we can put it on our website and our social, and share it there. Now we can share it out on a social post. Now we can. So basically, we're taking the review that somebody took the time to leave. We're not just putting it on Google so that when somebody's searching for us, there's another review there for them to see as the overall quantity of reviews, or there's a review for them to read that when they start reading, we have somebody who said nice things about us. But we're now able to take that and highlight it proactively to drive some sort of momentum, or even just to add another thing that we're sharing out there, on social and in emails and stuff like that. So it's kind of just like another excuse to have a touch point. I really like that, and I think it's something that you differentiated it between reputation management versus reputation marketing. But I really think that it may be a lost art, or an art of a lost science, or something like that, right? Like there's a piece missing that a lot of people are not doing, that we can leverage this one step further.
Yeah. And, there's definitely some best practices. I'm glad you brought it up, like the journey or the experience that a law firm can take after they've received the review. So I'll jump into a few best practices on this. Number one, of course, is respond to that review. Google looks for it. All of the major review platforms look to see, are you engaging with reviews once you've received them? Whether it's good or bad, send a response. If it's a good one, thank you very much for your wonderful review. We are so happy to support you in this case, yada, yada, yada. On the negative side, there's a lot more to unpack here, but typically it's either a disgruntled customer who's had a poor experience that is absolutely valid, and therefore you should say, something along the lines of, we're so sorry you've had this poor experience. Our customer success team or our team will be reaching out to rectify this as soon as possible, or something along those lines, something that's providing a solution, something that's acknowledging, an error if an error was made, or just, taking this offline. And that's definitely a key takeaway, is always never try to resolve a negative review in a chat or a comment thread or a consistent response and conversation or dialogue on that review site. It's not going to end well for you. It's not going to look good to anybody else seeing it. Offer them a solution. Tell them you're going to reach out offline and then look to address it directly.
Now, is it better to reach out offline first, address it, resolve it, and then leave the response saying, we took this offline and we resolved it with you, and we're glad that we were able to work it out? Like, is that a strategy you can use?
Great question. And yes, that absolutely is a strategy. The potential downside of that strategy is if the resolution of that issue takes a long time, because Google's looking for a quick response. They want to see that you're active, you're reactive, you're acknowledging and monitoring your reputation, and you're monitoring the site in a way that shows them that you're taking action quickly. So if you think you can get a resolution to this situation in a day or two, by all means. If you think it's going to take weeks or months, then respond first, take it offline. And then maybe in the process of handling it offline, you can ask that customer, that client, to either amend their review, take it down and send you a new one, whatever it might be. But you could even then update it yourself to say, we've spoken to this customer. They're very happy. We've addressed the situation. We don't foresee this error or this situation arising again.
Okay. And then so that's a disgruntled customer, unhappy customer, but I'm guessing that there are other negative reviews that can happen, like a competitor who's trying to be sneaky or things like that.
Yeah. So yeah, for those, we always see them: fraudulent reviews from somebody that doesn't exist, a potential competitor that you think is just trying to be sneaky and underhanded. always respond and say something along the lines of, we're sorry you've had this experience. We have no record of serving you. Are you sure you're referring or reviewing the right site or the right business? We encourage you to reach out and contact our team to verify this information and or resolve the situation. So if you're just calling out the fact that you've never done business with them, most of us understand that as business owners, this is a fact of life. And so I'm a type of consumer that loves to look for 1-star reviews. So I'll go and look and see how this business has handled it. And if I see that this business has responded with, sorry, we have no record of you, or, we'd be happy to serve you at a later date if you, want to try out the best law firm in Boston, for example. It's great. It shows they're cheeky. It shows they're listening. It shows that, this is most likely just a fraudulent review, which is a fact of life. And there's really nothing you can do about it to prevent it. Of course, you can report it to Google. Whether or not Google will take action on that is really, up in the air, because there's a lot of things that they can't do to understand if this is a real customer or not. So oftentimes they'll say, sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. But if there is hate speech or some information in there that clearly makes it look incorrect, or, bad language, something like that, those are often reasons that Google will acquiesce to a request to take it down a review. But on the flip side, going back to the positive side, the more important thing is what you do with the positive reviews. Because even if you have a real negative review and it's authentic from a real customer and you've responded to it, the best thing you can do is bury it. Bury it with good reviews, bury it with 5-star reviews, bury it with positive experiences from your other customers. And once you get those, yes, absolutely share it to your website through one of our widgets. That's going to boost your SEO. That's going to boost your ranking on a local search. It's going to boost the probability that you get showcased in the local 3-pack, which is, if I'm Googling injury lawyers in Boston, you're probably going to get a bunch of lists. You're probably going to get a Google map near the top of your Google page. And the ones that they recommend in that first 3 spots, that's what we call the local 3-pack. So if you're really looking to crack that Google code, the recency, relevancy, rating, and response is to the reviews you received on Google are the things that really factor into their consideration, their algorithm for who to showcase in there. And that's roughly rated around 25%. And take that with a grain of salt, because that algorithm changes a lot, but that's typically what we found. So it's a great way for you to start to really climb those rankings in Google. So share it to your website, share it to social media. Once a week, a few times a month, share a great customer story from a positive review from a customer. You can add a photo, you can make some backgrounds in Nice Job to make it really nice and really visually arresting and capturing people's attention. And then just continue to reference them. So whether you want to showcase them in a case study, a blog post, or encourage the customer to share it through their friends and family, or have them included in a referral campaign that they send out to friends and family. Those are really ways that you can then amplify the voice of the customer, which is one of those things that we love to champion, to get them to do a lot of the marketing for you, so that next time somebody's looking for a law firm, they remember that post that their friend said about this injury law firm doing really great work for them. They remember that story of how they got that surprise and delight gift in the mail afterwards, and they'll want to have that same experience.
Awesome. So it sounds like there's probably more stuff that we haven't covered, but we're out of time. So when I wrap up the episode, we want to leave with two things that I close out with. The first is if somebody wants to check out Nice Job, they want to reach out to you, they want to take a next step based on this conversation. Where do we send them to? Where do they go? Where do they get started? The second thing is if you can leave one final piece of advice, something you want to share, words of inspiration to our listeners, what would that final, parting wisdom be?
Ooh, I did not prepare a parting wisdom. So let me start with the first one and see if I can come up with one in the seconds between now and then. To find Nice Job. You'll find us on every major social platform. Nice Job or Nice Job app is typically our name. But the best way to find us, to sign up for us, we do offer a 14-day free trial. We offer a bunch of different connections to automate this process for you. So give us a try. We'll help you automate and set up yourself for success from day one. We have almost 1,500 reviews for Nice Job. And the main reason for that is because our customer success and our activations team are instrumental in helping our clients and customers get set up for success from day one. So you'll be in great hands. I guarantee you'll have a great experience in those first 14 days. And the other great reason is because if you mention law firm growth or profit with law, we'll offer a 50% off the first 2 months. So after that 14-day free trial, you'll automatically get a discounted price to then try out the first few months. As we understand, law firms typically serve their customers a lot more infrequently. So give that a try. There'll be a link down below in the podcast brief notes. So follow that link, sign up for a free trial. or if you are speaking with our team, let us know you heard about us from Profit with Law or from uMoshe, and that'll be the great way for you to then redeem that credit. Now, in terms of parting wisdom, I think it'll have to be sort of a combination of things. Bad reviews are going to happen. Don't shy away from them. Lean into them for a number of different reasons. Respond to them so that others in the future will see that, to address them internally so that you can learn from them. You can look to improve operations and improve the customer experience from them. And continue to ask for reviews, because the best way is just to continue to bury them with positive reviews. Don't be shy about asking. Make it easy for the customer. Prime them, let them know how much it means to you. It's not weird. It's not awkward unless you make it so. It's mostly table stakes these days, and customers are more than happy to do it for you. You know, if you provide them with the warm and fuzzies, if you just give them and do exactly what you're saying going to do for them, that's a 5-star experience. You know, there's a lot of marketing books out there that'll talk about 7-star experiences, but I won't get into that today. And then lastly, it's about how can you learn from them? You know, if you really make reviews part of your process internally, if it's something that you look at as a KPI internally for your business growth, as your business metrics, if you make it a focus for how you do business, not only will your employees, you know, try harder and provide better experiences, not only will your customers flock to you in droves because they see how great of the work you're doing for other people, but you'll also improve operations, you'll improve morale. You know, reviews are things to be celebrated internally. In your next team meeting, shout out the best 5 reviews you received that week, that month, whatever. It gives employees immense gratification to know that they've provided their customers with an experience that has not only led to a positive outcome, or even if it didn't, but it led to a 5-star experience that is now, you know, marketing gold for you as a firm to then take forward in the future, grow your business, improve your operations, and really surprise, delight, and provide your customers with exactly what it is they're looking for, which is your great services.
Awesome, Curtis. Love it. And this has just been a great conversation. Really something that it's not talked about enough, but it's becoming more and more of a pressing need. But there's also an opportunity. We're leaving gold on the table when we have these amazing reviews and not doing anything with them. And my takeaway from this entire episode is to create a process around that. Like, what are you doing after getting the review? And how are you leveraging that to expand and do more with that client and with other clients or potential clients, not just leaving it on the review platform for people to find, but leveraging it into your website, into your social, into your newsletter, into the things that you're doing, and having that be as automated as possible. So you're not needing to have somebody go and look for those, check for those, and all of that. So really love that part of our discussion. And I think that that's something that I don't think we've ever talked about that on the podcast before. 300 plus episodes, and this is the first time we're discussing it. So it was a real eye opener for me, and I'm sure it is for our listeners as well. Folks, if you enjoyed this conversation with Curtis, guess what? We do this every week. Every Thursday, we're here with another amazing guest. Every single one comes with their own flavor, their own expertise, their own area that they focus on. And there's so much that we can learn from each other. So if this is your first time listening to the podcast, you enjoyed the conversation, you recognize the value, make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button in your podcast player so that you get notified the next time we release a new episode. We're here every single Thursday, as well as some bonus episodes we pepper in from time to time. And we don't waste your time. Like, everything that we do provides value. We're not here just for the sake of being here. And I think that that having listened to this episode, and as you go through and binge on our past episodes, we're well over 300 episodes in our repertoire, and just continues. I mean, the goodness is awesome, and there's awesome goodness, right? So really love for you to be a subscriber of our show. If you've been a subscriber for a while, you probably heard this before. The number one thing you can do to help us is leave us a rating and a review. And you do that in your podcast player. We'd love it if you did that. I don't know if Nice Job does rating and review management from a podcast, but definitely when people are searching for a show to listen to, they're looking to see how many stars we've got. Not how many stars, but how many people have left stars for us and how many reviews we have. And I think that that's it's really important for us to continue to highlight, because one day you're going to be listening to this and you're going to say, you know what, today's the day I'm going to leave a rating or review for the Profit with Law podcast. So let that day be today for you. It really allows us to grow our show and grow our impact of the work that we're doing here. And you know that we're doing some really, really good work because you're here listening to it. So leave us a rating and review. We'd really appreciate it. And so will the person who decides to listen, because you were the 52nd or the 97th or the 124th person to leave a review. And that was the magic number that made them decide to press play on our show. So thank you so much. We appreciate you as a listener. And thank you, Curtis, for being here. And we will see you next Thursday. Take care. That's it for this week's episode of Profit with Law. If you have enjoyed the show, please consider sharing it with at least one person. Imagine how many lives we can change if we each shared this episode. Another way to share the episode is on social media. We appreciate your support and look forward to you joining us again next week.